Jim and Kiilu.
All right. So Mueller, you want to do the little intro?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a wonderful little fireside chat with Jim and Kiilu, and this time special guests. I mean, it's a double feature. Everybody really needs to saddle up and get ready for it. We've got Mr. Davis on one side and myself on the other. So we have had so many people. It's like putting the coaches in the hot seat. I think it's almost like they get a little nervous. They don't know what to think when we're asking them questions.
I was like, this entire time, like, we came up with this idea to interview ourselves. I was like, all right, so I'm not going to put any thought into the questions like that we normally ask, like, what would I answer? How would I answer this? And what would I do? But then, there was just one question that I was like, oh crap, it kept creeping in. I was like, oh man. It was like, all right. So I started thinking about it. So, my answer for that one is just, it's out of this world good.
Oh, you've got some good ones? Okay.
That was the only question that I actually thought about, like, because I didn't even want to think about it. I was like, I don't want it to seem, I want it to be organic. I don't want it to be, it sounds like, oh, we've just, it's kind of like when you have an interview and you give the interviewee the questions beforehand, it doesn't come out as good. This one, I was like, I know all the questions. I was like, but I'm not even going to think about them because I don't want to have, like, the answer already on top of my head.
Well, and it's amazing to me, like, because we've done so many of these already, and I really haven't actually thought of how I would answer the question. I don't know why that's never popped up.
I've critiqued plenty answers, but I've never actually said, well, this is how I would answer it.
Right. I mean, other than as we were just making fun of Cassie's murder mystery, apparently with zip ties. That was kind of impressive.
Yeah. I think that there's a couple like ones that, you think about, it was a Dawn and what was it, like sweet potatoes,
Yes.
And I think she said, it's going to be a table of all women, Thurgood Marshall. It doesn't make any sense.
No, that's awesome. And then Hots. I mean, you can't get enough stories. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's an awesome one. But you're right. With Cassie, it's like I look at Cassie completely different now. I'm like, if I ever had to go to sleep next to her on a plane, I'm keeping one eye open,
I think put Manish between you and her, like no matter what. Like you need a buffer.
I swear, I even said something to Manish afterwards. I was like, oh dude, man, I'm not even quite sure how you're still alive.
That's why he's scared. That's really what ends up happening. It's like, and Nancy Berg had incredible stories too. Like we've had a lot of good ones.
We've had a lot of good stories. I think everybody that, we've interviewed, everyone's been a little bit kind of like, not quite sure, especially because they're putting the two of us together, that could always be a recipe for disaster. But then afterwards, they settle down, they get into it. And I think everyone's had a really good time in terms of Fireside Chat.
And very different experiences, it really, really is. Just to hear, what people get out of it, what they remember and all that. But you can tell, I think, from everybody, like, truly it's the people in the organization that has made them all love the Academy as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. So heck, even going back to our first one with Jill.
Oh yeah.
That was like a true fireside chat because I remember I was actually outside. I was on my driveway. We were actually having drinks, the whole purpose of fireside chat. So that was definitely,
it was.
Yeah.
I think we all had a special drink that we were going to bring to it. And, it was great. Even Jill had didn't she have scotch?
She did. She had poured herself a scotch.
That was wonderful.
And I think I'm going to go out on a limb. And I think you had like ranch water.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it would have been a ranch water, but I switched it up today. Just a little vodka soda,
Okay.
Just going plain. Yeah.
I am going water in my special cup. You can't see the cup, but there it is.
No, there it is.
Yeah.
The ranch cup. There you go.
The ranch cup. I should have ranch water in the ranch cup, but
I know. Well, and it's also, it's earlier time still.
Yeah.
What are you, 4 o'clock?
It's still 4 o'clock, so I'm still at the office, and then going to Vegas tomorrow for K2's birthday. So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah,
That'll be a blast.
playing in a golf tournament. The tournament actually starts tomorrow,
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, but tomorrow is the final day of the scholars.
Okay.
So I didn't want to,
Miss
miss
that.
that, and even though I could have been, there and just not have my screen on, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to make sure that, the last one, because we've had 5 of them so far, 4
Yeah,
with, individuals, and they've just been awesome. They have
really.
been so good.
That's great. I mean, that program's blown up, which is great. I mean, it's technically the second year of it, right?
Yeah, so it's the first full year. Last year, we consider ourselves a pilot program because we didn't get the green light until like March. And so, getting scholars that's the difficult part because you got to go into the law schools to get them. So I think last year we only had 3. This year we've got
Okay.
20 scholars.
Holy cow. So, I mean, if you keep up that same exponential increase, how many are you going to have next year?
I think we're capping it at like 25 or 30. I think that's
Okay.
I think that's the most, you can have as many as you want to because it's all about the fellows. You don't really have to do anything.
Right.
Not in terms of coordinating all that stuff. You can have 35, 50, 100 fellows all participating in the program. But I think just to keep it under, wraps and be able to control it, I think what we've said is 35 is a good one. But heck,
Yeah.
I'd love to run into a problem where we had to have, we got 50 scholars. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and then it's and the feedback's been great from everybody, even just the fellows that have been participating in it have all loved it.
Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. So I'm glad to see that it's something special. So, Gary did, I still go back and say, when Gary first approached me about the idea, I was like, oh my God, the only thing I hated about it was that I didn't think of it first.
Yeah, but you were there at the infancy.
yeah. So no, it's been awesome. It's been an awesome experience. It's been awesome being able to, get to know, you see these scholars, you don't really get to know them, but you get a feel of what's going on by the questions they're asking. You see that they're really involved and they're really taking it seriously. So, hopefully, they go back to their schools and rave about the program. And, like I say, it can only, to me, it can only get better.
Oh yeah. Get people more interested in family law. It is funny because if we can get it that way from a much younger age, it'll be great. I still laugh at how many people in my office will say family law was the one area they told themselves in law school they would never practice in. And I was probably one of those at first until I actually worked for a firm that did family law. And I was like, this is pretty interesting. That whole commercial litigation, that's just discovery and paperwork.
Yeah.
I didn't, I mean, my God, I'd redline everything and never see a courtroom. That's boring.
I went to law school to become an agent. I was like, you know what? Sports didn't necessarily work out for me. I'm gonna go be an agent. And then all of a sudden I took what was it? Like a sports something class. And I looked around and there was like 40 people in it, all thinking they were going to be agents. And then I listened to the professor about how he became an agent. And it was by happenstance. It was like he happened to have a friend who needed some representation, who just got drafted. So he started doing that. And then I was like, well, holy cow. And then I ran into another guy that was an agent at the time. And I think it was so there's 2 people. One was Carlos Beltran. The other one was the other guy. They were two guys. And he's like, and we put all our eggs in this basket. And it turned out that Carlos Beltran was the one they should have gone with. And he's like, yeah. So now it's like, I'm a glorified babysitter. And he's like, and he's just sitting there. He has a bunch of tickets. I got to wait for this person's wife to come in so I can give them tickets, this. And, he was just not happy at all. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be an agent.
Well, it's true. You know what? And I know you have that same experience. It's funny. Like when we get those types of clients, we deal more with the agents. That's all they're doing.
we deal with their financial people. We deal with their agents. We deal with, it's kind of like, come on, dude, this is your life. This is, at least participate a little bit.
Yeah. You know, and I've always said what's crazy to me is sports teams that allow, financial professionals, estate planning professionals, some life coaches and all that for rookies. I've always thought they should have family law attorneys come and talk to rookies to be like, guys, we've got some good advice for you.
I actually tried to start a program kind of doing that. Buddy of mine used to be like second in charge of the NFL. And he actually was the guy who came in and did the draft the second day and did all the analysis. Now they do it where they got special people coming in, and all that kind of stuff. But he was the one who did day 2. It was Roger Goodell day 1, and then Roger Goodell did day 1 at night, the first. Then he did second day. Then they had third and whatever. He did third and whatever. And so,
really,
yeah, I sat down. It's like this would be an awesome thing, But he works for the NFL versus the player side, so that's.
Yep.
But yeah, I always thought that it's kind of like that would be a no-brainer,
Yes.
How to manage your money, how to do this, how to do this. Oh, and by the way, just in every case, because you're traveling in different states and you've got all this stuff going on, something might happen.
Yes, you might have a little bit of a target on your back.
Yeah.
Like suddenly you seem a little bit more attractive than that guy that didn't get drafted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not always their great looks,
Yeah. Sometimes it might be the cash that you got in your back pocket.
Right. And then, it's a wonder why then everybody comes out of the woodwork too, It's like
exactly.
They've got 20 family members that are all employees somehow of a company that they don't, it's like, okay.
All right. So I'm going to kick it off, Mueller. Who's your hero?
Oh, by far my dad. Like I would say like that, not even a question. Like it was like that is who I still remember asking him to be my best man and all that stuff, and kind of just knowing the sacrifices he did for my family and to do all that stuff and to work and, help actually he applied for roads. He filled out my application. He made me write the essay eventually, but all that good stuff that he kind of put me on the right path. And to this day, I mean, he's by far hero, best friend, all that kind of stuff. And he and I could, be on a 5-hour car drive and either say nothing and we're perfectly content or talk nonstop. So I would say that's by far my hero.
Okay.
How about you?
It's gonna be my parents. My parents are my hero. I'm not gonna put my dad or my mom over my dad. I am a.
Fortunately, my mom doesn't look at these videos.
Yeah, well, it would be hard.
Yeah.
Both of them are no longer with us. So yeah, but they're still with us.
They're still with it.
I'm gonna say that I am who I am today because of them. Everything that they've instilled in me. People might say that I got my athleticism from my dad, but I might possibly think it's from my mom. She of the two, I think she was more, the accomplished athlete. Even though my dad was a hell of a basketball player, hell of a football player, I don't think you can, get over what my mom was. And so I still remember, watching her play softball and just crush the ball. And but that wasn't even her sport. And I was just like, what the heck? And so, obviously she was fast, but it was just crazy just watching her do her thing. And then, both of them were smart. My mom was an accountant, my dad was an attorney, and grades were something that it wasn't even an expectation of, oh, you get an A, you'll get paid. It was like, you get a bad grade. I remember I got a C in 4th grade in handwriting. I spent the entire summer writing. My mom was no joke. It was awesome. But
so wait, to this day, do you have good penmanship or has that gone away?
My penmanship is like a doctor now. It's so bad. Sometimes I write it and an hour later I have no clue what I wrote. But but for the longest time, my handwriting was just stellar. Because I remember Mr. Turner, 4th grade, got a C, spent the entire summer writing, just like writing. writing. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that stuff anymore. So
Yeah, mine was a little different. Mine was like the opposite because my dad was like he used to joke that I was adopted because he couldn't go to his high school graduation, so it was a little bit different. He kind of was wondering where this kid came from.
well, was he like joking like ha ha or joking like trying to tell you something?
You're right. If I hadn't grown up to look like almost his mirror image, it'd be totally different. But yeah, he was definitely joking. I've now looked at it. We're okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
No
thank you.
milkman sneaking in the back or anything like that.
No, no, I had to look into it, but we're good.
Okay. All right. So
So wait, tell me
go
this.
ahead.
So now you're not, are you a reader or an audiobook guy?
Neither.
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 Just after you get home, you're done.
I'm done. I'm playing video games. Like
Oh yeah.
I've never liked to read. And so to get me to read, I had every subscription you can think of. My dad got me Sports Illustrated. My dad got me what was it, Bass Fisherman. My dad got me fly fisherman. My dad got me all because I loved fishing when I was a kid. So that's all I did. Like I used
Oh
to
yeah.
tie my own flies and everything else. So he got me every one of those,
For
magazines and
real.
everything. So they'd get the paper and Kiilu Davis in the mail would have like 8 different magazines because he was just like, son, you got to read. You got to read. You
That
got to
guy
want to
rang the
read.
door. That guy came to the doorbell for you guys looking to sell a magazine, and he's like hitting the jackpot.
It's seriously, it was. Anybody that came trying to sell something of reading to our house, my dad was all in. And then, growing up as kids, you had those little things where, if you get this amount of subscriptions, you get X, Y, and Z. I used to
Yeah.
hit the jackpot. I'd win everything because my dad would be like, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this. And so, to this day, I don't read. I don't like to read. I read enough case law, read enough
Oh, I
stuff that
know.
I'm done with that. But what I will do is, you know, Sirius is on channel 89, like
Yeah.
24/7 in my car. You go home, it's channel 305 all day long, so it's just baseball, 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 and every once in a while I'll throw 301, which is, NFL Network. And then I think
Okay.
89 is Sirius for NFL Network here. So I'll do that. But generally speaking, I'm usually just listening to sports.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I'm not a reader, and it's Olivia gets on me because I'm not a good example for the kids. I'm like, I could have them mirror me at work one day, and they'll be very shocked at how often we are nonstop reading. That's all we do. But I'm an audiobook guy now. I'm a podcast more than I am a book guy, and I love like horrendous, like terrible true crime, all about serial killers, all about all kinds of stuff. I love listening to that stuff, which
So
is just
you and Cassie got a lot to talk about.
we really do. That's actually what she was talking about. That I mean, like it's cathartic to me. Like I'll walk the neighborhood in the morning, butt crack of dawn, and I'm just listening about people being like dismembered. And then like I get back and I'm like, man, I'm just ready to start the day. So I don't know what that says about me. Some people have a daily devotional. I'm like, whew, thank God I didn't have to like that guy.
Yeah. Or it could be that guy you just happen to go on your walk and black out for a little bit, and you were the person they're looking for.
Yeah, haven't been caught yet. Then at least
Yeah, it's always the innocent looking ones.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
In that case, it'd be Tara and Olivia.
Yeah. Well, Tara does that. I had to tell her, I was like, look, you've got to stop listening to this stuff at night because I'm having like dreams and nightmares about it. Like I'm in nightmare, people are getting killed, and I listen, I like wake up and it's like, oh, because it's on the TV, it's not really a nightmare. It's just, but it goes on to the next one because the next show starts, and then all of a sudden that's the next nightmare. And I was like, seriously, can we, And I was like, okay, I won't watch MLB Network. I was like, I'll turn it to the
Right.
Golf Channel. She's like, nope.
Yeah.
I was like, who can't fall asleep, listening to some golf? Come on.
Oh, golf. If golf doesn't put you to sleep, I mean, that's like even the announcers whisper. It's like it's naturally putting you like nap time during a golf match is awesome. Like
I come home
I didn't understand that until later in life, but now I appreciate it a whole lot.
I come home Sunday mornings. I will turn on the Golf Channel because, especially right now, because after my round, I'm usually getting home at like 9:30, 10:30 in the morning. So they don't have it on TV yet, but they'll have it on the Golf Channel. So I turn on the Golf Channel, lay on the couch, fall asleep for an hour or two, wake up, I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all. Now, what got you into golf?
So what got me into golf? All right. The first time I ever played golf, it was freshman baseball. We had a situation where we had varsity practice, then JV practice, and then freshmen had to practice. So school was over and we had nothing to do. So a bunch of us would just go play golf for a little bit and then head back to the school. But that was like my freshman year. But I started picking it up a little bit, in college, but I couldn't play too much because baseball basically said it messed with your swing. So I was like, okay, so I can't really do it. But then after college, it was kind of like, you think you're going to do something. What sports, when I did not go to college to, get an education. I went to college because I thought I was going to, go to the next level in something. I didn't know what it was, but it was going to be something. And when you realize that it's really not anything, then you're like, oh crap, what are you going to do? So I started playing golf and, I also was, I did like a men's hockey league but it was still a little bit different because you're not, going as hard. It's not really checking or anything. I did a men's baseball league and that was cool, but it was still a little bit different. Tried to play some softball. And I remember that I was playing center field or left field or wherever I was playing. And, someone came round and round, third and blew out like her Achilles or something like that.
Yes.
I'm in left field yelling, Tiger! And then at that point, I was like, yeah, you know what? These kind of sports, it's probably not for me. My mentality is not yet ready for just laid back. So, but what I loved about golf was like every time I go out, I can challenge myself. I am going against myself. So it's my competitive nature is just me. I don't care what the next person's doing. I don't care what the next person's doing. I don't care if I'm playing with 3 hackers. Me, I can challenge myself and I can be in my own game and still have fun, do whatever I need to do. But it's just me.
It's you.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and it constantly is evolving. I mean, like you said, like, because heck, after you do everything to your arm and you got to switch it up. You got knee braces. You got to switch your swing up. Everything like that. The best thing that happened to me was break a back, and now I'm like, that's not the worst thing for me. But I'll never forget. This is a good one because I still remember in Hawaii. I mean, it was the perfect time too, because I did tell you I was horrible, and I meant like a lot of people underestimate and they'll. Oh, I'm bad. I'm like, no. I'm not a liar. I don't golf. And I just wanted to be out there. And I remember taking a swing and this thing damn near hit the cart like this way when I'm shooting this way. And I look up and there you are behind a tree, just dying.
I literally dropped to my knees and I was like, oh my God, you do suck.
It's like so bad.
Because I really thought like, yeah, people say that, they suck and da. But, you did that. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't think, because I've golfed with Starks before, and that guy is awful, right? He is
okay, good to know.
really bad. But to see someone that might be worse than him, I was like, oh,
it's Lord. Impressive. It's like effort.
It's like, yeah, you've got to try to be that bad. I was like, oh my God.
It is. So, I mean, really, the good thing for me in golf is I only had up to go. That was it. There was nowhere else to go at all. So we're I enjoy it more and more. I'll tell you that. It's a blast.
Oh, I have, heck, when I went to law school, my goal was to become a single digit handicap. That was it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I went to law school. I was like, all right. Well, that's why I came out here because other places I was looking was really, really expensive. And then I was looking to see how much it was going to play, cost to play golf. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to play that much golf. I think I played probably 3 to 5 times a week in law school.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played.
That's a good way to do it.
And at Karsten, and it was funny because Karsten was Arizona State's, course. They reserved, 8 tee times at 1:00.
Yeah.
But as students, you had to get there at like 10:00 if you wanted to be a part of that. But the problem was that they then gave like 4 or 6 of those tee times to the golf team. So students were like wrestling over,
trying to get
a
the
foursome.
spots.
So you'd have to get there at like 10:00 in the morning and just like putt on the green forever, hit some golf balls, waiting to hopefully be able to go out at 1:00.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's crazy. So at our course at the club, they're redoing the whole thing and actually watching them put in and change the grass like everywhere throughout the whole. I've never seen it done, but it's really a fascinating process to watch it. And I'm like, I have dead spots in my yard and, it's like, hell, it's turf, something, but I just laugh. It's like to watch these greens crew and what they can do is fascinating.
Yeah. And they come and they just roll it out in the big, and
Yes.
it's like boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, it's like, holy cow. Seriously, it takes me forever when I had a front lawn that was grass, it took me forever just to get that little patch straight. But yet they're doing, acres and acres.
Oh, it's amazing to watch it, isn't it?
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So what would you say your proudest accomplishment is?
Oh man. Like first instinct that comes off the bat.
And I will make sure Olivia does not see this. So don't try to give me one of those, canned answers or anything like that.
Don't worry. I actually went right past Liv into into my kids of just saying is probably that's the proudest accomplishment is like, and we'll see. I haven't hit the terrible teenage years yet, but like they still like me. Like I think right now that's still my proudest accomplishment is that, but is by far the kids and like we have fun and it's fun to spend together. And I hope to have that, I know it'll change and, ebb and flow as the years go by, but that's probably by far the proudest accomplishment that I have.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm not going to say my kids. It's obviously, you got the kids and the wife and everything else. And trust me, you're going to get to the stage where they don't like you. And then they're not going to like you for a while, but then they're going to come back and start liking you again. So that's just the whole thing. I think
exactly.
My proudest accomplishment for me is just being able to provide for my family. I know that that means different to everybody, but I know for a while, we were looking at it as our generation was going to be the first generation that was going to do worse than their parents. But yet I've been able to I'm not going to say I've done better than my parents, but I'm going to be able to say that I've been able to, I think my parents would be proud of the person that I've become, the family that I have, the accomplishments that, have come along with, my life in general. I think they'd be very proud of that. And so it's kind of, being able to provide for my family as well as looking back and, having family members say, oh my gosh, your parents would be so proud of you. Yeah. That is that kind of, because my mom passed away when K2 was just 1 year old. And so,
oh, wow. Yeah.
Just doing things for her and looking back and, I think that makes me the proudest. Yeah,
it's really true. And I would say too, like it's extremely fulfilling to be able to do that stuff and to do things like, cause it's nice to have my parents, and provide a house for them and they're able to retire and they're able to do that. Like that's fun to give back to them and do all that stuff. With the kids, I kind of laugh. It's one of those of like, we all want to be like, okay, So where's that fine line of being able to give them what we want to be able to give them, and then be like, but how do we not spoil them? Like,
Yeah. It's because I'm taking Kiilu because we're going to Vegas. It's 21st birthday. It's everything, but his 21st birthday is not actually until Monday. But he's going with me with a group of friends, and he's playing in this golf tournament. I've introduced him to these guys. They love him. Everything's great. And then it's like, oh, I think I'll stay, a couple extra days for my birthday. I was like, I'm not financing that. And I tried to sit down. I was like, what? Are you going to tell me it's the first time you're ever going to have drank? I was like, you're telling me it's the first time? I was like, I don't really understand. What's this whole thing? Like, why do you think that I should finance, your party in Vegas? Not
right.
Daddy Warbucks or anything like that. So what exactly do you think? It's kind of the whole thing where, hey, we got food in the house. You don't have to eat out every night. Every once in a while, you can be a pauper and actually have food that's in the refrigerator.
It's so true. Everything's so different. I mean, I love it when the kids are like, when did you get your first phone, Dad? I was like, well, thankfully, so late in life that I'm able to have a career because everybody didn't have a camera and a video on them. So we're good. But are you kidding?
When did
me?
I get my first phone? 28.
Yeah. It's like when my boss gave it to me.
Yeah, seriously. When my boss brought me a phone from the firm, that was the first time I got a phone. I was like, I had a pager before that, But
Yeah. I was trying to explain to the kids the other day what a pager was, and they're like, well, how did you call back? I said, you had to wait to go find a phone.
You had to go find a phone. You
That's how that
actually had to
worked.
go find a payphone to then
Yep.
call them back. And that's why you then learned how to send little messages through your pager.
On the pager.
So, you didn't have to go run someplace to get called back. You could say, oh, this is what it says. Great. Fantastic.
It's a whole new world. But that's what's crazy to think is I've got associates at my office and we're describing to them what pagers are, not just our kids. It's not that far behind us where they have no world without a phone, without all of this stuff. It is insane to me.
Yeah.
I mean, half the movie quotes that I use are so lost on the associates in the lunchroom. It is worthless. I'm going to start making it a freaking work requirement of just certain movies I have to see.
See, I used to do that, and then all of a sudden, once you have kids, and I still quote movies, but it seems as though now from Transformers or Harry Potter or any other animated film, Incredibles, I'm not quoting what I used to quote, and it's like, well, that ain't no fun because no one knows what you're talking about.
It's true. It's true. I had my kid. We had him watch The Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy the other weekend, and I mean. Both kids came back loving it and different parts they liked about it. I was like, okay, there we go. So now I'm trying to find that genre that they can watch because there was one time Liv goes, oh, Liesel had a friend spend the night. She goes, I'm letting the girls watch Ferris Bueller. I was like, what? How much cursing and there's some adult situations. And she goes, well, don't worry. I asked Emma, who was spending the night. I asked Emma's mom if that was okay. I said, I wouldn't trust you or Courtney for that. I don't think either of you can remember Ferris Bueller. That is wholly inappropriate.
That's not, that's a teenage movie.
Yeah. She found that out about
quarter of the way through. It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. She's like, we might have gone a little far on this.
Yeah, just I remember it was just a couple of days ago. I said something. I was like, you know what? If it doesn't work, I'm gonna come outside your house just holding a boombox like this. And they just looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, dang, that's a good one that I just wasted on people that don't even understand anything.
It's true. They also probably looked at you like, what's a boombox?
Yeah.
That's what half of them are going.
I didn't even think about that one.
Half of them are going like, what? And I get to standing outside. That's weird, but what is he holding?
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's really that's what could have that's
what's awesome? The kids go to camp in the middle of nowhere, Texas, with no electricity, right? So there's no AC, there's none of this stuff. We have to get them old school Walkmans and cassette tapes. It's great.
Nice.
And so, oh man. Yeah.
You get them the yellow one, the really
that's It's exactly it. Like they're really big. It's amazing when they have them on Amazon now. You can find them, but it's like that now. That's like the cool thing is to collect their little cassette tapes. They think it's so cool. I'm like, there you go. You know.
Well, crap, I just got rid of a bunch of them because I used to hang on. Hung on to my cassette tapes and my CDs. I still might. I don't think I got rid of my CDs yet because that's still like, there's a story behind them CDs. There's a reason why, my dad can never go back to Rhode Island. And the fact that, everybody is in Columbia, whatever it was, Columbia Warehouse or Columbia, something.
Yeah.
Everybody in my family, for some reason, lived in Rhode Island and got their, one CD for a penny and the rest for.
Yep. Remember those? That was crazy. Everybody had that.
Everybody. Those
now,
were...
what genre of music you listen to?
I guess depends on the time, but so I grew up on jazz. So
okay.
So I can go from jazz to R&B to Motown to rap. I'm not really sure what, and I guess my dad probably said the same thing, but the rap that they have now is a little bit different. So I'm not quite sure. Everything has the same beat. Everything kind of sounds the same. So some songs I try to get into, just, hell, when you got Michaela who knows all the songs, and I guess, no matter what, I got to listen to it as well. But, I think my biggest one would, I'm still probably stuck in the 90s R&B.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's where I kind of float. I kind of float back and forth because the funniest thing is I remember driving around on Saturdays with my dad having to listen to country. And I mean, God, I complained. I hated it. And now I love country. Like that's by far what I listen to the most, but I'm with you. I do all genres. Because the irony here, my favorite singer is Celine Dion. Like that is just not a joke. And so I kind of say it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know how to respond to that. That's
you want to know a great story? Okay, here you go. So we had moved into one of the houses. I can't remember if we had kids yet or not, but Liv is home alone. The alarm goes off. And when the alarm goes off, she punches in the code, but then they call to make sure everything's okay. And they needed to know the security word. So she starts going through the names of the dogs, the names of the old houses we had, the old thing, what we used to use. And the lady's like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm sorry. That's just not the right code. It would maybe be perhaps a singer. And Liv goes, are you effing kidding me? Is it Celine Dion? And she goes, yes, that's it. Thank you for the safe word. I'm like, Liv's like, I can't believe you, Jim. I said, sweetie, think about it. Nobody's going to break in and be like, really? That's your safe word?
Safe word, Celine Dion. Yeah. God. I'm still processing it. I will tell you, it might take me 24 hours or so, but you will get it probably in 24 hours. You're just going to start getting a string of texts from me. Just
don't worry. It happened.
Crapping on you
there was one time,
this.
I forget it. I think I was talking to Ben Stevens. Ben's like, Mueller, dude, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this with you.
I'm not even quite sure. Like, I couldn't even name 5 of her songs, let alone say that she's my favorite artist.
There's a man. I actually drugged Liv to a concert once, and she's like, actually, she's pretty good. But Liv just went to the most recent Taylor Swift concert. And she said that's the best one she's ever seen.
I saw that.
Yeah, that was like a dad of the year moment. Lisa wanted to go with a friend, and then that friend's mom, and then they needed more and more and more, and I had a connection through.
I know. I tried to get you to, get me to allow. I know. You got like 87 tickets, and I was like, "What about the Davises? Damn it!"
It was amazing. Like I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm not gonna live. I don't think I can top that one for a while. We'll see.
I just took them to the Ludacris and Janet Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did they love it?
That was awesome. It was awesome. And I will say, like, with Chris, there wasn't as many people because obviously Janet was the feature.
Oh
His
yeah.
concert was insane. It was so good. I was
Really?
just, oh my God. I was like, okay, this might be one of the best concerts, just his portion that
Yeah.
I've been to in a long ass time.
Amazing.
It was awesome. We had such a good time.
Indoor or outdoor venue?
It was outdoor venue. And so it was
Okay.
hot, but it wasn't that bad. It was before we hit this heat wave that we're in. It was earlier. It was just around June 7th or something. So it was still
Oh, good.
pretty nice. And yeah, but it was just insane. And seeing Janet, just
Oh
listening
yeah.
to her songs, and it's like,
It brings you back.
yeah, we had the kids listening because they know a lot of Chris's songs, but we had to have them start listening to Janet's songs beforehand just so they could kind of get, and they're like, oh, okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was,
Mom, Dad, you guys like some good music.
yeah, it was definitely a good time considering they always call me Boomer. And I'm like,
Oh,
Boomer,
there you go.
what are you talking about? He's like, what? I think I'm Generation X. I can't be a Boomer.
Yeah,
Boomer's my dad.
exactly. It can't be. We
Yeah.
laugh. Yeah. The problem, I forget, they were asking one of the kids one time, what was their favorite song at the time, and it was The Gambler. And I'm like, that is awesome. I
Yeah.
did something right. That's
Yeah.
that's a good answer right there.
That, but our I think when we were walking out of the chapel, our song was "It's Your Love."
Oh yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
So
Not bad.
I still listen. I have a little bit of country that I'll listen to, but it's pretty much, I think it's Garth Brooks, a little bit of his songs, and really, I like Tim McGraw. I like Tim McGraw
Oh,
just
yeah.
because that dude's an athlete. That dude he was all state in football and all state in basketball in Texas.
Really?
Yeah, was
Oh,
it
that's
Texas?
impressive. I did not know
I
that.
think it was Texas. But either way, I know he was all state in both sports.
Oh, wow. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize that. He's a heck of an actor too,
Yeah. And and his dad was a pretty good pitcher as well.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we see our song, we had Lady Soul by the Temptations. That was our wedding song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Love that song. But see, the hard part, you pick something like that. We never, when you go out, it's not like you're ever going to hear your song getting played.
No, but we don't really go out that much anyhow. We spend a lot of the time in our front yard and now our backyard. So we know, hey, we're going to listen to that at least once or twice a month when it's on the radio because we're putting it on there.
You get it on there. It's on your little playlist. There
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a cheat code.
If money was no object, what would you do all day?
Oh, man. God, no object. What would I do all day? I'd probably I would meet with people nonstop to find out what cool, new investment ideas do they have. That would be something that is one of my favorite things to do. Is sit around, chit chat with people about other investment opportunities. So literally, if money was no object and I didn't have to go to work, I would do that all day long. Because you know what that means? I would end up golfing. I would end up probably learning how to not suck at that. I'd end up in the 19th hole. I'd come home when the kids are off school. It'd be great.
Okay. So you would meet with people because, all right, so I'm kind of confused. You're meeting with people for the first part of the morning and then you're doing the rest of that stuff, or you're meeting with people all day? Because then if you're
all day long,
people, then you don't get to do that other stuff because you're meeting with them all day long.
Well, but there's no way I would sit at home. So that's what I would do. That really would be.
You're spending your entire day meeting with people.
Yeah, I would have to get out of the office no matter what. And that would be fun to me.
I'll tell you, a buddy of mine, guy's got gobs of money. I think he sold his company in his 30s for 600 and something million. But he's got his kids and he says, okay, he sits them down and he has them present to him stocks that he should buy. And if he'll put the money up. And if it's if it works out, they get a percentage of it. So they got to put like a package together for him.
Yeah.
So a couple years back, one of his kids brought to him, I think it was like Xbox or something. And it was like, well, why? He goes, well, because they're getting ready to partner with this and they're getting ready to do this. And then more kids are going to be buying, you know, you don't have to buy you can do it online now and you can get the videos here and you don't have to actually go to the store. And they're creating their own this. And so he's like, so I put some money into it. He goes, God, that kid was right. And so he actually uses his kids because he's like, my kids they're closer to what's going on than I am. So I'm gonna, you know, so that's what he does.
Oh yeah. Hitting it on the ground so much quicker. It's
Yeah.
true. You hear stuff kids are talking about, and I'm like, what are you talking? I've never even heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find that stuff fascinating.
Okay.
But yeah, so it'd be like a country club rat, but that, you know, would be meeting with people just to hear fun ideas and new opportunities and learning about people and all that stuff. I'd love that.
So same thing you do now, except you're just doing it in a country club.
Yeah, but you know what? Guess
You
what?
did not put a lot
less,
of thought into this one.
no, a lot less lawyers in my life. And usually that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I'm not quite sure. I like that one.
Yeah. Well, what would you do?
Oh, if I had my perfect day, money was no object. I'd golf first thing in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I'd come home. I'd take a nap.
So we're right now. You can't describe. Are you just going through Saturday? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would do this every day. I would play golf every day, come home, take a nap, and then I would then turn around and it's kind of like most of my Sundays anyhow. So I'll play, you know, Fortnite or whatever video game I want to play. I'll play that for a little bit, and then I'll go in the backyard and putt. And then after I putt for a while, then I go back inside and play some more video games. And then once I'm done with that, I go back in the backyard and putt some more. And then I might jump into the pool if I want to, you know, do whatever. If Tara's out there, then okay. If not, then I'll just putt more. And then, you know, later on, once it gets cooler, then I'm going to move over because we have a batting cage there that I can also hit golf balls.
Oh.
Then I'll start hitting golf balls. Right now, I just spend most of my time chipping and putting because we just got a new putting green. So, but that would be, I would do that every day. I would just do that every single, money's no object. I ain't got to work anymore. I don't have to meet with anybody. I don't have to talk with anybody. If I want to talk with somebody, I'll play a video game with somebody and put him on the mic and I play and I'll get my talking that way. If I don't want to talk, put it back up. Don't have to listen to anybody.
That's hilarious because like you're so social and always around people all the time. And you described a day where it's like, just you.
Just me.
Like you're like that. You just want to be able. But now here's what you got to do. You're going to have to buy your own baseball team. So when you're listening to the serious, you know, the MLB channel, it's your own team. You know, you're like that way you can be like, we're trading that guy. I'm so sick of him. Not, you know.
But then I'd actually have to come out of the house and do negotiations. You know, I don't know. I'm literally just sitting there. That would be my perfect day.
Which is probably why you love fishing so much as a kid, because it's like quiet, chill. You know, it really. I just went fly fishing last week for the first time in my life. Like,
oh really?
I tied flies as a kid. My dad, we went bass fishing in a john boat. Like that's all we did growing up, hunt and fish and all that kind of stuff. I'd never actually gone fly fishing and that is a blast. Like it's so much.
It's so much fun and just how you get it. And it's to learn how to make the perfect cast. You know, I would do, you know, in my front yard, we had a cherry tree and we had a tire. And so, you know, people ask me, like, even still, my dad still talks about, because I'm a really good caster. Well, the problem is that he used to have me in the front yard. He just put weights on the line and have me casting into the tire. But I would have to cast from different rounds from around the cherry tree so as not to get it caught up in the cherry tree. So I'd have to learn how to do from different angles. And the same thing with fly fishing. You know, you just do that. But but the same thing for me. Golf is, you know, yes, when I go play in the tournaments and the AML, it's all, but usually my Sunday, I've been playing with the same 3 guys now or 2 guys now for about 15 years. So we don't really have to talk that much. Every once in a while, we'll have a conversation, but there's plenty of times when I'm just, because they usually walk and now I have to ride. But when I used to walk, I would just be in my own mind. That's the whole thing. I wouldn't have to talk to anybody, wouldn't have to say anything. I could just do me and not worry about it. And I still do that. Like, I don't have a lot of conversations. I'm usually just thinking about nothing, playing golf. And so that's why I like playing golf as well, because it's just me out there.
Relaxing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you need that. That's my deal for walking. I like to, other than listening to murders happening in my head, a lot of times it's just nice.
Yeah. So what's your favorite family tradition?
Oh man, it's now become really, I'm almost going to say, is we come up here now to Colorado. That's where we are right now, and go on hikes. Like, we take the kids, go on hikes, and we will sit there, and it's some kind of a book that the kids are listening to, or if not, it's just alone time with the kids, me and Olivia, and in the middle of nowhere. And the nice thing about it is my phone doesn't work. So it's like finally unplugging. Like back in the day, it's kind of nice. Nobody could get in touch with you. When you were actually gone, you were gone. Like there was no, I think that's some of my favorite traditions, is to see them up here and then, just go on hikes with them. And it's a lot of the summertime. And then we come up here now in the winter. So I love that kind of, literally, those are kind of the fun traditions that we have a whole lot of doing that. It's been more recent that we've really started as a family rather than adopting, what my family did or what Olivia's family did. It's something completely different that nobody did. So I like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
How about you?
Growing up, I don't even know if I like our family tradition. So it's kind of like, we did something every year, and I don't know if that was the greatest thing. It was nice to do, but I'm not going to say that was like a great family tradition. But I know what we've been doing lately for the past few years is egg roulette. And
I was hoping you were going to say this. This is my favorite to watch.
Yeah. So we do that. And, the first year was just hilarious because Tara didn't know how to boil eggs. And I was like, how do you not know? Nothing was boiled. All of them were raw.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You didn't know how to boil eggs. That's awesome. That
so everyone was just like, crack, crack, crack. And so
you were just hoping for a soft boiled egg.
Exactly. It was just hilarious. And then this past year, it was the first year that K2 wouldn't have been home. And so we did it via Zoom. So I don't think we uploaded it, but we have the video where we're all sitting outside and we've got K2 and his girlfriend on Zoom, and they're participating in the egg roulette. So we kept it up even though the entire family wasn't there. And so that was a good one. And so I think
that's a good one. I love watching it. I never even heard of it, but it's the funniest thing to watch.
Yeah. And afterwards we all just go flying to go take a shower, and it's so much fun. But it's just watching people cheat doing egg roulette. It's just boop, boop. No, you got it. It's like, I find myself being a referee. No, that's not a good one.
Oh yeah, we get into some Monopoly games, and I'll tell you, Boone is going to be a shark. I mean, it's amazing to me. That kid is the luckiest kid in the world. We will just joke. I can have a whole side with hotels on it, and he will land in like the 2 spots to get all the way past that. I just look at Olivia, and she's like, "That kid is so lucky." Like, it's amazing. No, those are some fun traditions, because there's been times when I mean, he's gonna win. There's no way not. I'm like, "You bankrupt me, son. I'm not gonna just give in. Like, you're gonna have to bankrupt me." And sure enough, he will. He has no shame.
That's awesome.
Those are always some good ones. I like also how, because depending on what bracelet y'all have on, that's another good one.
That's a good one. So that's a good one. We have I can't even remember where that started, but it's probably been going on now for at least 10, 12 years or something like that. Because I remember K2, he probably would have been like 10 years old, and we had gone somewhere. And so we have this tradition where anytime you go to an event and they put a bracelet on you, you continue to wear that bracelet. You wear that bracelet no matter what until it falls off. You're doing it. And so it might have been, so we had gone to the Easter egg. We had gone to the White House for doing the Easter egg hunt. So I think this might have been it. So we all had our bracelets on and we had them on forever. But then I remember K2, I put K2 into pitch and he was on the mound. And the umpire came up and was like, looked at him and was like, you got to take that off. And he looked over at us and you could just see it on his face. Like he was just like, oh. And I'm like, one down, here we go. And so, yeah, you keep it. We've had them on there's been like 5, 6, 7 months afterwards, and we still have them on. It's crazy.
Now it'll be funny because a lot of the fellows will finally start looking and being like, oh, look at that. And they're going to look and see whether Tara's got hers on as well and be like, oh, so you already lost that one. So who's got it? Because Michaela's got hers on. Like who's got, who's lasted?
I remember last year at Indian Wells, they had those bracelets that also worked as your room key, right? So I can't remember where we were, but then Rick comes up to me afterwards and he's like, hey, I still got my bracelet. And I was like, that was a room key. I was like, you have to pay like $35. He goes, I don't care. I won. I'm part of the David thing. I won. I'm like, that does not count. Those are ones that you can actually take on and off. But still, now you're a felon. It's like, he goes, either way, where's yours?
Either way,
I won.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that. It was just, I don't see your bracelet on.
Exactly. He was like, I don't care. I won. Where's yours? I was like, wow. All right. That's dedication. But yeah, that's probably because that's longer than the egg roulette. So that's probably our longest going tradition because everyone participates in it. No matter what, as soon as you get something on, everyone in the house knows. And you'll see people trying to come by and fish hook your bracelet to try to get it off. And, we're ruthless in the house.
Oh, that's even worse. I didn't realize I didn't realize you could tear it off of somebody.
Oh, yeah. People will try to tear it off as they just accidentally have the finger out. And
oops.
My bad. So do you guys have a family motto?
No, we don't.
Wow.
I know. We never really No, we're going to have to come up with one.
Okay.
Yeah. What's y'all's?
Davis's don't quit.
Oh, there you go.
Hey,
I got you another one. Do you have a cup with it? We'll save that for part 2. I've got the kids because the kids are running around looking to go to dinner, and I'm like looking in, going, "Oh my god, it's 6:00 already."
Yeah,
like an hour goes by, but we have to do part 2 because we didn't even get
to the actual question.
I know. I knew this was going to happen, which is good. See.
All right, but at least we'll got some questions in there, so it was a fireside chat. But all y'all, just be sure that there will be we'll have to come up with the name. I mean, Hot's had a Hot's part 2, so we got to come up with a good name.
We'll come up with something. Okay, we'll think about it.
All
awesome,
right.
boss.
All right, Mueller.
You be good.
You take it easy now. Give my best to the family.
You too, man.
All right.
Later.
Bye.